We're here at Randaddy's here in Lahinch in County Clare, and I'm delighted that Randy has joined us to talk about Randaddy's and what you do and how you do it. And very interesting business, and it's a business journey for you, really, isn't it? Because food has become literally a journey for you. You've traveled around the world to do food and to fall in love with food as well.
Yeah, it definitely has been a journey. In fact, it's taken me around the world. Being a chef has definitely expanded my horizons and let me do two of my loves, which would be food and travel, all at the same time. And now I found myself in Lahinch for the last 4.5 years. And trying to put all that together in one concept in this restaurant has been the goal.
And how have you done that here in Lahinch as well? Because you're settled now, you've got kids and all that kind of thing as well. So how have you managed to start a business, keep a business going, and improve it as well?
Well, that's a tough question. I mean, it's long days, long hours, but you're still, trying to always improve. Geez, that's really a tough question, really, to be honest with you. It's an interesting place to start a business. Do you know what I mean? Especially a food business, because Lahinch it's on the west coast. I know it's a popular tourist spot in terms of surfers and etc. So why here? How did you end up in this place? Okay, well, Lahinch. I kind of ended up in Lahinch there about 8 or 9 years ago when I came into Ireland. I decided I wanted to come out to Lahinch and go surfing, and that's what brought me to Lahinch. And one job led to the next, and finally, I guess after a little while, I kind of gotten tired of being the old head chef of restaurants and hotels and doing them. Figured I should get out by myself and do it. And a friend of mine told me about this location in Lahinch on the beachfront. And in all fairness, for a first restaurant, you couldn't dream up a location like this on the beachfront. It's the #1 surf destination in the world. You have the Cliffs of Moher on your doorstep. You have golf galore out here. Some of the best links courses in the world are right around me. So I mean, ideally, this is something that dreams are made of. Personally, I mean, you can take a stone, you can hit the ocean. I mean, who would think that this is going to be the first restaurant?
Absolutely.
So that's actually how I got here. Yeah.
And how did you? Because I know you'd worked in the food industry. You'd worked in several kitchens, etc. before now. So when did you decide that that's not what you wanted to do anymore? You wanted to have full control. You wanted to own a business and start a business.
Well, I think that started from the age of 20, 22, 23 is the whole idea is to try and...
So it was always the goal, was it?
Master the craft. Yeah, it's always been a goal to master the craft. I've always kind of been wanting to do things better and better, and thinking that I could do it better and better than where I'm at. And I think the only way to do that is to do it yourself. So it's always been a goal, to start up a restaurant, and actually, in fact, start up a restaurant chain is actually the ultimate goal, with a lot of food products going out and expanding on our food products and trying to bring those out to the market as well.
And that's interesting, because I sat down and had a chat with you, a lengthy chat last week with you, and you were saying to me that you wanted to produce food in terms of making sure that it goes out to hotels, people stock it, that you wanted to create a food business as well as the restaurant, etc. So what's in the pipeline for that?
Well, that's obviously the ultimate goal here, is to have the restaurant group growing, and then on the side, absolutely packaging up food to a high standard. I feel today's standard of I guess prepackaged food is not up to scratch. Loads of preservatives, loads of additives, and I figure there's a way that you could do it in such a sort that you can get it out to the smaller restaurants that aren't able to produce it because they're small kitchens, and so they look to other things to get it packaged up. And as well as our local customer, I'd like to have this become more like a little shop as well. So instead of getting their daily ingredients
in super values and going for those brands, they can come in here and get the fresh made ingredients, and our lamb that's been marinated that day, they can take it home with them, as well as our sauces and all that stuff.
And I know that's important to you as well, because you make a lot of what you produce is basically in-house.
Yeah.
All your breads, most of your sauces, your hummus, and all of those kind of things as well. So is it important for you as a restaurateur to make sure that when you provide people with food, that it's the best that it can possibly be and it's made in-house?
Absolutely. That's been one of the biggest goals for the past 4.5 years since we've been open. The big concentration has been on the food, trying to stabilize it, and definitely being in a tourist resort like we are in at the moment, where you have so many highs, so many lows. That is the biggest challenge, is doing the high volume and still trying to keep up the consistency for the casual diner. Yeah.
And how do you kind of find out what works? Was there a lot of experimentation in the start in terms of creating the menu, finding what people liked, what people didn't like, what sold, what didn't sell?
Absolutely. And we're still doing it. The first time we opened up, we definitely rallied around pasta, trying to be the ultimate goal and trying to really ramp up our menu to be a very fast-paced pasta place, predominantly pastas and pizzas. But over the last 4 years, we've changed it quite a bit and critiqued it more into what I actually ultimately wanted to do, and brought my travel experiences in it. And I think every dish that somebody has here is fairly unique, and lots of ingredients from around the world are in the dish to make it simple and very simple. And we've brought that world menu together a lot more this year than we have in previous years, and we're actually pushing on to more of a worldly menu, international cuisine, for the casual diner. That's the biggest market we're trying to hit right now, is casual dining.
And I know this year you've had a massive rebrand as well. You've changed the exterior of the restaurant, the interior as well. What was the thinking behind that, and why did you decide that it was time to do something like that?
Well, I guess we decided that because we were going into obviously the 4th year, and I felt in Lahinch there's quite a few places to eat. I think around a little over 20 places to eat, whether it be a sandwich, a pizza, a salad, and me being on the beachfront has the biggest parking lot around. And we put out a survey of about 500 people that filled it in, and the biggest feedback is people didn't know what was here at all. They couldn't reflect what was from the outside. They didn't know what the logo meant. So we went as far as ripping it all down when it comes down to the logo and the branding, and building it back up to let people know that, okay, we are Randaddy's, we are a taste of adventure. We have a menu that's from around the world, which our old branding didn't really reflect what we were doing in here.
So what's the future then for Randaddy's? What do you hope kind of evolves over the next couple of years for your business?
Well, definitely what's going to evolve over the next couple of years is growing the business in a direction of bringing it into the cities now. A great starting point, a great feeler point is Lahinch. We get a lot of city goers. A big thing that comes back on comment cards is, what's the least favorite thing about Randaddy's? Well, it's not in Dublin, it's not in London, it's not in Limerick. Now, it is simple food here, but it is, I like to think, done well. The simple things are done really well. If you have a sandwich, the breads are made every morning. A lot of people, you can't get that anywhere else. And I guess we're not health freaks at Randaddy's, but we're definitely the kind of restaurant that sees food as being original, and no stabilizers in the food, nothing like that, no additives. And that's been a big draw for people over the last 4 years. So we definitely see an expansion over the next 2 years, going on to the 2nd and 3rd restaurants and hitting cities, or hitting, places.
So go cosmopolitan, etc.
Absolutely, that's been always a dream, for the last few years. All I do is I'm on the internet finding what the big restaurants are doing, how they're doing it, and what it's going to take to get to that level. So, and I've been very blessed over the last 4 years of having a great team to try and bring it to the level it's at right now, and keep the consistency on the food. This year we really broke into it and started changing up the thing and doing table service in the daytime all the time. We opened in recession, so it's 2011, and the depths of the recession. It wasn't the easiest thing to do. So
people would have said you're absolutely mental.
We got that lots, and we still get it at the odd time, especially every year we try and improve the restaurant, improve what's going on and the experiences. We're constantly reinvesting and that's a very important part of the business is reinvesting.
How important was that though in the beginning? Because it's one thing to turn around and say, I've got a great idea, I love what I do, I'm very passionate about it, that's great. But the economics of the time would have told you that it was going to be very, very hard to be a success. So was there a sense of you ignoring that, or was it just simply a calculated risk in terms of doing your homework?
I think I ignored everybody firstly, because everybody around is you are in recession, and let's face it, everybody's trying to be closed up and batten down the hatches, where I think that's the perfect time to jump into it. Everybody battening down their hatches, you know, it is great in theory, but that's the time that I think you need to be doing something different, expanding. And I definitely found an opening in Lahinch. And I mean, when you get a beachfront location at the #1 surf destination in the country, you'd be crazy not to take it. And I think the second thing that is really important into opening definitely a restaurant is knowing it's going to work, firstly. Not going in thinking, geez, if it doesn't work, I've only invested this much and I can pay it back. If that's in your mind, you shouldn't be doing it. First thing I thought of is how it's going to work, visualizing, you know, how many people are going to be coming in here, visualizing year on year and how it's going to be growing, and what you're going to do to change it and grow it.
Absolutely, yeah. If people want to find out more, see what you do, look at your food, menu, etc., where can I get more information?
Well, you can get it on our Facebook page, definitely. Randaddy's Lahinch is the Facebook page, and there's also the website, randaddys.ie, and also Twitter and Instagram. They're all out there, so you can definitely find out more about us then, or you can just simply email me and find out what's going on for whatever you need.
Absolutely, yeah. And I know as well, coming into the wintertime, you're going to perhaps maybe have some foodie kind of stuff, events happening, hopefully over the winter as well.
Maybe tamper into cooking courses, you know, maybe the odd cooking course and seeing all those goods. We've had good feedback about people wanting to do the simple things, but then differently. We don't do anything out of the ordinary here. We just try and make things very simple, you know, less cream. You know, everything's made from scratch. So in our kitchen, you'd find a lobster stock boiling, a chicken stock boiling, a fish stock boiling. We wouldn't use any bouillons and all that stuff. So I think people are fairly interested on what's going on, rather than taking all those shortcuts and pulling out the frozen food and putting the bouillon in the soup. You know, there has been great interest in it.
Absolutely fantastic. Randy from Randaddy's, thank you very much for joining us on the Small Business Show and letting us bring our beautiful hot seats into your restaurant as well. But listen, thanks very much, and that is it. And thanks very much for joining us on the Small Business Show.